Hello everyone, and welcome to a special 2020 edition of the MCN Criterion News. MCN is Mint Condish Network, right there.
I think they figured out what it stands for, Wade.
Okay, so we're doing this special election edition. We're dressed up for the occasion. We're about to have a debate on the movie Election from 1999, Alexander Payne's, I believe his sophomore movie.
I'm pretty sure he graduated after that, before this movie.
Oh, that's a pun right there, because it's high school. It stars Matthew Broderick right before Matthew Broderick does Godzilla.
No, I think this was after Godzilla.
Godzilla 2000, right? It came out in 2000?
No, Godzilla 2000 is...
Oh, it came out in 98. So this is after...
Right, Godzilla 2000 was in the Toho.
Yeah, right, you're right. So yeah, this is the terrible American Godzilla that Matthew Broderick was in. It was right before this.
And way after Ferris Bueller's Day Off, the last time I enjoyed a Matthew Broderick performance.
Yes. Not Cable Guy?
He's okay.
And this also stars...
I'll say enjoyed and tolerated are two different things.
This also stars Reese Witherspoon, pre-Legally Blonde, and also Chris Klein, which is around the time of American Pie.
Actually, fun fact, this came out in before American Pie, so this is technically his first role.
And Say It Isn't So.
Well, that came afterwards, but...
Yeah, with Orlando Jones, not Orlando Bloom.
Yeah.
I have to correct myself.
Yes, you do.
But yeah, so Matthew Broderick plays Mr. McKinney?
McAllister.
McAllister.
Mr. McAllister, or forgot her name.
It's a Tracy Flick.
As Tracy keeps calling Mr. M.
Yes.
Yeah, no.
What's wrong with your eye, Mr. M?
Fuck me, Mr. M. Do it.
And then you have Tracy Flick, who is she is the go-to, like, I'm chipper, I want to be in government.
She's the overachiever from hell.
Yes.
She's the person who, you know how, like, there's people where, like, you're happy for their success, you're happy that they're doing well, but then you've got people who are just so irritating with how much they have to be the best.
Yes.
That is her, totally.
Yes. And then we have... So basically, the movie's about those two, and
to an extent, yes.
She wants to be the high school president, and Matthew Broderick's like, nah, not really,
because he doesn't want to deal with her because she's annoying as hell.
And also, there's also kind of I feel like there's a little bit of not sexual tension, but a little tension because she had a relation with a previous teacher
who he was friends with.
Yes.
But again, he was also kind of more. I think in that situation, he was more upset with him rather than her because because one of the things they bring up at the beginning is the difference between ethics and morals, which, if you think about it, is kind of like the core of what this movie's about. At least when you get into Matthew Broderick's story.
Also about elections in general.
True.
Yes.
And that's where it gets into it because it's the case of the teacher's the one teacher's in love with her, or at least claims to be, and he tells him it's not a matter of right or wrong, it's a matter of morals, and this is wrong, but as you find out through the movie, he himself, not so much with a student but with his former friend's very own ex-wife, who divorced him after his affair was made public.
And this also tells sort of Matthew's, the character's... His character is a very unreliable narrator. He's very... You think he's like, oh, he's going to be a nice little teacher, and then you just see, like, his life is not the greatest.
Well, he
has a lot of jealousy in his heart.
I don't think of him as the unreliable narrator in the total sense.
Near the end.
I feel like this was a case of, and I don't know how often it's seen, but I feel like this is a case of he might become it as time goes on. Like, it's almost like it's how usually when you have a narrator, it's usually from all in the past tense. This one, I feel like it's very like he's narrating it as it happens. The story is unfolding as he's talking.
He becomes more.
If that makes sense.
More I'm saying is he's not unreliable to the audience immediately, but throughout the movie he becomes more like he's kind of jealous of Tracy because of. She's an overachiever. He probably wasn't. She's going to have the big, six-figure job or being legislative and stuff like that, and he's a teacher that can't get his wife pregnant.
Well, and not only that, but there's also like that that like bitterness towards her because he knows about what happened between her and the teacher, and he knows that if that one huge thing came out, it would unravel the whole thing. And the fact that everyone's hidden it, I think he holds some resentment against her in that regard. And
there's a nice little touch when she gives him his her application,
and he just throws it in the trash.
He throws it in the trash, but you notice he throws away Pepsi bottles. When she says, Coke is the biggest advertiser. I thought that was a nice little touch with the Pepsi now.
Well, that's the thing. He drinks Pepsi until, I think the last time you see a Pepsi in the shot is when he's watching the porno. But if you notice, when he's talking to his wife in the kitchen, he opens up the fridge and you see a thing of Cokes.
Yes.
Because they're the number one.
Yeah, interesting little nod there. And he gets the brilliant idea of the Pepsi to get, I need someone to run against her. And he picks Paul. And I think you and me can both agree that Paul is the best characters in the entire movie.
Oh my God, Paul is...
Played by Chris Klein.
Played by Chris Klein. He is just so likable, lovable, respectable. He is the best character in this movie for a couple of reasons.
He's also, if you think about it, he is what we as a society want as the perfect candidate. He doesn't have a bad word. In the whole movie, he does not cheat. He doesn't tear signs. He's more of he's just doing it because he wants to. He wants to this might be good for me. I might have fun. This might be good for everyone else.
Well, not just that, but you look at, especially back in 1999, I mean, you look at the way his life is and everything. He breaks his leg. He doesn't let it get him down. He wishes it was the other way. Even something towards the end when he talks about, if he didn't break his leg, his thing was, I could have died.
Yeah.
And it's almost you almost have to admire that. It's he probably thought, he treats things as if they're happening the way they're happening for the good. And not only that, but you look at, I was getting ready to say, before I sidetracked myself, you look at the time period, the fact that his sister is a lesbian, or at least bisexual, because the one girl even says they're experimenting, so who knows?
That's a lot. I wasn't expecting that.
But just the fact that he's super cool, he doesn't care, he doesn't have a problem. He is the living embodiment of a live and let live type of person.
Yes.
And he's so grateful for everything, because if you remember in the scene where everyone's praying, he's the most selfless of all the people who pray. The others are really asking for things. He's the one who's actually giving thanks to God for everything he's gotten, including the blowjobs from the girl that his sister, Lisa, who his sister was trying to get with. Also, he had one of my favorite lines when he references coming home from school and having a fuck and a hot tub.
Yeah, it was
not having a hot, basically hot tub, having a hot tub meaning a verb, getting in the hot tub.
Yeah.
And I was just I love how he says it too, because it's not like in most movies where it would be and we could fuck and he had a hot tub. It's just very casual, very like he's talking about, and we'll have a bowl of cereal. It's and a fucking hot tub.
Yeah.
He's just very calm, cool, collected. He's a character who, he knows who he is, and he doesn't force himself on other people.
Yeah, and he's the best candidate of the three, because you have him, Tracy, and you have his sister. Her name is blanking on me. His sister.
Tammy.
Yes. She is running,
I think it's Tammy.
Just to spite because of Lisa. And she doesn't even care. She's trying to be this rebellious. Maybe she's the third party of screw the system. We got to shake it up.
Yeah, she's going for a very anarchist tone.
Yeah. And
it ends up biting her in the ass because, obviously the school doesn't like that.
Yeah. And Tracy is very cutthroat, and it's basically Matthew Broderick's life. It's just kind of going in the crapper.
Yes.
And he gets stung in the eye with a bee, which is a nice running gag. What's wrong with your eye?
And it took me a while to think about it, because his eye got really bad at one point, and then because I'm he got stabbed he got stung in the upper part. But then I thought, well, he does smack himself in the head. I feel the top part is the bee sting, and the bottom is a black eye that he gave himself.
So he does that, and he spoilers, he decides to rig the election. Well,
not just rig the election, but one part of his story that we have not mentioned yet is, while all this is going on with the election and his dislike of Tracy, he's also plotting an affair with the woman who used to be his friend's wife.
Yes.
And it backfires on him in a big way by this point.
Yeah.
Because, of course, they're all friends. both him and his wife, and then his friend and
He was
his wife.
he was just told to fill her up.
And so she tells him what happened, and it tells his wife what happened, and it basically crumbles his life. I mean, it's hard to come back from that. It's hard to like forgive somebody when it's so cerebral, and not only that, but the fact that like when he gets to the school, his first instinct not to call his wife and try to make things right with her, it's to call up the woman who quote tattled on him and be all like, "Why did you do that? You ruined my life." And it's like, dude, you ruined your own life by doing that. And then he tries to like apologize and try to make things right, but it's like it doesn't take a genius to see the writing on the wall, but he's emotional. He's an emotional wreck. He's going through so much right now that it's like, clearly he wasn't thinking straight.
Yes. And he rigs the election, and he had, you think he got away with it, and Paul's like, yeah, he's genuinely happy. He even has ideas.
Yeah.
We should have a carnival thing, and just like, Matthew Broderick's like, I don't know. And then he gets caught. And that's a great moment when he opens the door to the principal's office.
And he's all happy and singing, and then he's like, hey, what's going on? Oh.
And everyone's staring, and just like, oh, gosh. And it was so heartbreaking when they told, like, when they called Paul in. Like,
yeah. But that's the thing about him, and why I think we need more characters like him, is like, he takes it all in stride. He doesn't I like characters who aren't bitter. Yeah. And he's like the most unbitter character I've ever seen in a movie.
Around this time, and starting to American Pie and all other movies, in this like late 90s, early 2000s, Chris Klein was a gem.
Oh my god, he was great.
I don't know what he's doing now, but he's a gem.
I said to Caitlin, I was like, what makes him so great is he has a look that if you want him to play a good guy, he's so like, he just has a look like you want to get behind this guy because he can be so genuinely likable. Yeah. But by that same token, if he leans to the bad side, it's almost like it shifts and it's like, man, I hate him. I want something bad to happen to this guy. And that's a very unique trait to have. And, you had to deal with
Matthew Broderick. He goes to New York and becomes a museum tour guide. And he sees Tracy.
Oh, I love that.
That was one of my favorite scenes. It's just like he's saying, you know what? I am not going to I'm letting her go. I wonder what she's doing in that limo. And then he flips on a dime
and just throws the drink. And now, the one thing, because Caitlin watched it with me, we're just like, why did he wait? The idea is you're supposed to throw the cup and then run. Yeah. He like waits for them to be like, asshole! And then he starts running. Yeah. And I'm like, you're supposed to like throw it and then run immediately.
Yeah, like it's great. It's for a movie that's about a high school election. There's a lot of layers to it like the expectations of high school, the expectations of someone like Tracy, who's an overachiever, and she goes to college and everyone's an underachiever.
I think one of the things that I was, and it's just an observation. It's not a knock or a praise or anything. But I think one of the problems that someone could have, not myself, is like I feel like the title's a bit misleading because I feel like you go into this movie thinking like, oh, the election's gonna be front and center and like that's like the main story. But in reality, it's a bunch of other stories and a bunch of other people's lives going on. And the election is kind of like the thread that keeps them all together, but it never really takes too much precedent except in the moment where he gets caught. Because, I mean, you do have like the actual election and the speeches, but it's more about everything else that's going on. And again, I don't have a problem with that one way or the other. That's just an acknowledgement.
That's a nice speech.
Go ahead. But I was gonna say, but overall, like, it wasn't what I expected going in. Partially, I'm glad because I really did not want to see a adult Matthew Broderick teenager Reese Witherspoon have sex. Yeah, I thought we were going that way when he was like, one thing I did want to mention because I was just getting ready to say it, like when he has that scene where like he's having sex with his wife, but he's thinking about the neighbor. And all of a sudden, Tracy pops in. And that's where the whole, like, fuck me, Mr. M, do it. And by the way, her accent, it doesn't, you don't hear it often when you do. Like, it's really funny. Yeah. But in that scene, I said to Kayla, I was like, you know what would have been really funny? Is if while he's, like, doing it, because when he's thinking about the other two, that's when he's, like, really, like, giving it to his wife. I was like, wouldn't it be funny if, like, Paul's head rolled in and was like, "Yeah, Mr. M, fuck me. Fuck me." I was like, no, get out of here. And then he swats the head, that head away, and I thought that was something that we... And also, can we appreciate the Paul Metzler signs? Vote Metzler, you Betzler.
Yeah.
Politician.
Yes. All right, so, Scott, final thoughts. Would you recommend this movie to a movie-going audience?
This is definitely a movie that I would recommend. I think it's one of those movies where, and Caitlin was worried that my wife would feel like I would feel this way. It looks and comes off at face value like one of those like pretentious
like a
90s,
like a Rushmore.
Yeah, but it's really not. It's a victim of its like perceived aesthetic. I would recommend at the very least seeing it one time. I don't think this is going to be everyone's kind of comedy, because I feel like what's going to happen is you're going to have a combination of the people who think it's going to be like that and then they're disappointed. But I do think the people who are willing to give it a chance, I think they're going to enjoy it.
I will also agree. I think it's a pretty sharp screenplay. Great performances from everyone. I think it has a nice like flow to it. It doesn't drag. Doesn't drag. It goes a good pace, and I agree. It's a movie that I feel like you should see at least once, and then you can make your judgment if you're going to buy it, stuff like that. But I really like the movie a lot.
Yeah, and not only that, but like the characters, like even the bad characters. Like when I say bad, I mean like evil characters, but no one's really evil in this movie. The thing that I like about them is like they're evil, but they're not like... I think nowadays everyone likes to make their bad guys like really irritating.
Yes.
And where, like, it's either you hate it or everyone likes them because they're so ridiculous. And I'm like... But I like this one because, like, everything's palatable. It's something that, like, it's not overbearing. No one wears out their welcome in this movie.
I agree. So that's our thoughts on Election. What are your thoughts on the election? The movie, we don't need to know what your political stance is down there in the comments section below.
Right. And we're glad that you elected to watch this review.
Yes, and hopefully, if you're watching this on election night, hopefully you're not too stressed out. Just know we're all in this together. So until next time, I'm Wade.
I'm Scott, but it won't be me next time. It'll be Joe.
Yes. And we will see you later. But what if they vote for Kanye?
Oh, Jesus.